Oh, there you are. Good morning. Happy Halloween. I guess. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining today. Another live English lesson here on YouTube. iTube and YouTube, WeTube. Everybody tubes. Thanks for joining me today. I really, really appreciate that. Hope you're all well. Let's see who's here in the chat room. Tammy is here. Mie, hello. Fab, hi there. Tefo, welcome. Yumino, hi. Nauko, hi. Elena, all the usual suspects. Excellent. Hello, Peter. Thanks for joining today. Excellent, 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 excellent. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Hope everything is good with everybody there. Rainy Monday. Oh, really? In Toronto, just north of New York. Sunny and cold today. What's the temperature now? Let's see. It was very cold this morning. Today, right now, oh, it's warm. My goodness. It's 14 degrees Celsius. Wow. It was much colder a couple of hours ago, 3 hours ago when I took Max for a walk. Ooh, ooh. How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing today? Did you have a nice weekend? Did you study English? What did you learn over the weekend? What did you study? What did you practice in English? I'd like to know because I'm curious. 14C in Italy. Wow. What did you study this weekend? Warm and windy in Amsterdam. Wow. Sunny day. All right. That's good. That's good. That's good. Can't help you, buddy. Oh, exactly right now, Max just woke up. Right, buddy? Come here. You want to say hello to people? Come here. Come on. Come on. Hello. Say hello. Oh, say hello. Look. Look, it's people. People. Okay. Oh, hello. Look, the people. Look. Who's that? Oh, you don't see them. I don't see them either. You good boy. It's my coworker. Hello, John. Yes, I've been working from home in the home office, since COVID, since 2020, March, something or other. Yes. All right, listen, I can't play with you, okay, buddy? I got to work. Okay? These guys want to study English. Okay? Okay, you good boy. Okay. All right. Peter said hello. You say hello to Peter? You don't see Peter, do you? You don't know what I'm doing, do you? Max is confused. All right, so what did you study this weekend? Let's see. Social media is one of the important means of communication for English learners. In this case, means method. Yes. Yes. It's a means of communication. It's a means of something. It's a way to do that. So yes, that's exactly what that means. Right, buddy? You going to stay here and you're going to hang out with me? Okay, you hang out. You hang out right now. There he is. Let's see. I can't make that any closer. Hello, Max. Man's best friend. That's it. Are you my best friend? Maybe. I guess so. You good boy. You good boy. Oh, thank you, buddy. All right, let's see what people study this weekend. Right, so the means of doing something is the method of doing that. Naoko, thank you. In the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. How about an example with that? Or lying through your teeth. I like you because you're funny. Thank you. Sorry, I cannot read your name, but thank you very much for that kind compliment. His question, put me on the spot. Something puts you on the spot, right? What? He probably wants to eat. You have to wait until this lesson is over. That's why I just gave you a little bone. Okay, buddy? This is what happens when you work at home. This is what happens when you work at home. You've got Mr. Needy with you all the time. All right. What else? Man's best friend. That's the nickname for dogs. The dog is man's best friend. In this case, the word man means human beings. Fortunately, the rescue came in the nick of time. All right, good. Good example. Oh, stretch. You want to come up here? You want to sit on Daddy's lap? Because you can't keep interrupting the lesson, buddy. I tried to understand Elon Musk in some interviews. He has an interesting accent because I believe he was born in South Africa. And he does have kind of an American California accent, but he also has a little bit of that South African accent in there. All right, buddy. Good boy. What else? What did you study this weekend? Have you been reading anything? I'm still reading my book in Japanese. Incumbent. There's a number of meanings. Can you think of a context? And I can give you the meaning that maybe you're thinking of. For example, when there's an election, the election day is in November, and the person starts their job in January. So from November, the day they were elected, until the day that they start their work, they are the incumbent. Incumbent. Why is my menu? There it is. Okay. By the way, my two favorite dictionaries in the whole wide world are the Longman Dictionary and the Free Dictionary. And if you've never seen those, let's see if I can find that. Just a moment. Don't go there now. But that's the Longman Dictionary, and that's the Free Dictionary. The Free Dictionary, I guess, is based in the UK because they use a lot of British English and British definitions. But those are two good dictionaries. I highly recommend those. Weather. Weather is a verb, right? We have to weather the storm, right? We have to weather these poor economic conditions. So kind of weather, in this case, weather means to deal with this situation. We have to weather the storm. Weather the storm, hang on one second. So like, when the phrase to weather the storm has two meanings. One is the exact meaning. So stay safe during a storm. If there's a typhoon or a hurricane, you need to weather the storm. You need to stay safe during the storm. That's the first way we use weather the storm. Exactly that meaning. But for example, if in society, right, right now, everywhere in the world, there's high inflation, right? Prices are crazy for everything. So we have to weather the storm. We have to manage or withstand a difficult situation. So that's how we use weather as a verb. We will weather the weather. I like that. We can do that. We have to weather the bad weather. Whether or not we like it, that's a different spelling. But same pronunciation. All right. Finally, Max is satisfied. Max is satisfied with the bone I gave him. Good boy, Max. Thanks, buddy. So did you see how he comes to me right at my desk all day long? All day long. Mr. Needy. Cope with or withstand. That's right. or a bad situation, some kind of negative situation. Usually the negative situation has to do with economics or in business. If you have a company and business is not great right now, you have to say, well, we have to weather the storm and keep trying to make money. Bear up. That's right. That's right. What else? What did you study over the weekend? Let me know. I timed myself. I wanted to see my reading pace yesterday, so it took me almost 45 minutes to read one chapter in the book. And that's without really checking vocabulary, highlighting vocabulary, but not checking it. A little bit longer than I thought, but at least now I know my pace right now. The difference between inflation and recession. Oh my God. I got to think about that. I think they're similar. Hang on. Let's see if I can get a quick answer. Okay. Basically, inflation is when prices go up and salary stays the same. That's inflation. Recession is when the economy grows in a negative way, negative growth. Make sense? So inflation means prices are going up, but the salary stays the same. Recession means the economic condition is going in a negative direction. The economy is not growing. It's shrinking. And I think both of those affect each other. All right, cool. Today, we're going to talk about, what are we talking about today? Phrasal verbs. Hello, I'm down here. Phrasal verbs with call. That's right. We're going to look at some phrasal verbs with call. I love teaching phrasal verbs because we use them all the time, and I want everyone to get used to using them. This way you sound more natural and less formal sometimes. All right. And before we get to that, I would like to remind everyone, I'm sure everyone has already done that, but in case you haven't, I have a free vocabulary workshop, speaking of vocabulary, to help you learn where and how to get your new words, the best way to study them, and how to own them so you remember them forever. Okay? myhappyenglish.com. That's where you can get that. And if you want to get this document, I'm pointing down here. If you want to get this document to download, then you can also go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube, and you can get it. And the document for this week, it's not there yet. Don't go away. It's not there yet. The document for this week is phrasal verbs with call. That's what we're going to do today. I encourage you, if this is your first time, I encourage you to type answers with your examples. Okay? One of the things that I talk about in my vocabulary workshop is writing your own example sentences to help you remember the vocabulary. And I do that. I use something called, now I'm using something called Quizlet. Does anybody use Quizlet? So I use Quizlet to, it's kind of like online flashcards, and it's a little bit more modern looking than Anki. And I just use that to, I write my sentences there, and then I study my sentences using Quizlet. So that's a good way to do it. Okay, and I talk about that in detail in the workshop. So if some of the phrasal verbs that we're doing today are new for you, then you can study using that method if you like. Quizlet. That's this. I'll put that link here. Don't go now. Don't leave me. Don't leave. But that's what I'm using, and it's very helpful. Okay. Let's make this happen. Okay, we'll start off nice and easy. Some of these you probably know. Some might be new. Call up, right? Call up means to telephone someone. Hold on. Oh, no. What happened? Let me get the telephone. Hello? I'm going to call you up. Hang on. Here I am. Oh, hi. I'm calling you up. All right, so first thing to know that call up is separable. Call up John, call John up, call him up, but not call up him. Okay, keep that in mind. So, when you telephone somebody, you could say that, I'm going to telephone you tomorrow. But my goodness, does that sound formal and old-fashioned. So the difference between, you might be thinking, well, Michael, what's the difference between call and call up? Good question. We use call up when the person is more familiar. Okay? For example, I need to call up Tammy and wish her a happy birthday. Is it your birthday? I say call up because everyone knows Tammy, she's here every week. She's familiar to us. That's why we use call up. Someone's trying to call me. I can't take a phone call now. Okay, thanks for chatting today. I'll call you up this weekend. All right? Call you up. So, but I called the police when I saw the accident. A little bit more formal. A little bit more formal. So we can't use call when it's not that way. Okay? So you can use both. I'll call you tomorrow. Now go, I'll call you tomorrow. I'll call you up tomorrow. But we can't say I'm going to call up the police because it's too friendly, too familiar. Okay? So, that's that. All right. Who did you call up recently? Yes, my phone is ringing. Somebody tried to call me 3 times. No, 4 times. And I can't answer it. Sorry. Can't do it. I was supposed to call my friend up, but I still can't do it. Call her up. Call him up. Call him up. Call him up. Call him up. I have my phone on what do you call it? Quiet mode. Like I don't know how to say it. What is it? Silent mode? I have the sound off. But it vibrated. And then the microphone picked up the vibration. That's what happened there, Fab. Who did you call up this weekend? Anybody? Do you still call people up? I think most of the time when you want to communicate with somebody, we send a text. At least I do. But I do have one high school friend. He doesn't text. If I get a text from him, it's really rare. Usually he just calls. Phone means dog in a bone in British slang. Phone. You mean phone as a verb or phone as a noun means dog in a bone? Dog and bone. It's a dog and bone, or I'm going to dog and bone you? What? I don't get that. Sorry, Tefo. Can you explain that? As a noun. So I would say, this is my dog and bone. Naoko says both, call and text. The odd time I call up some friends. As a noun. Can you give me a sentence with that, Tefo? I'd like to see how they use that. My nephew called me up just before this lesson and told me that Alessio got the COVID. And we were together yesterday. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ellen, are you okay? You guys got to do a test. That's why it's not over. Please take care. Call up. Now I'm okay. Good. How about Lorenzo? Is he okay? Call up. Call up, call up. If you don't feel well, you better call up the doctor. Call the doctor. That's probably better. Call the doctor. All right. Call. So that's call and call up. Now, call in. Can you answer the door, Jack? Sorry, I can't, Mom. I'm on the dog and bone. Really? I've never heard that. Wow. I'm on the dog and bone right now. Wow. Very, very interesting. If you said to an American, sorry, I can't go right now. I'm on the dog and bone. Nobody would understand that means I'm talking on the phone. So, very interesting. If the doctor is familiar, we call him up. Yeah, among my family members, I would say that. You should call up the doctor. He said, hello, welcome, thanks for coming. Seat. I think a seat, right? Is that correct? All right, let's move ahead. Call in. You call in when you need assistance. Professional assistance. When you need your bathtub fixed, call in a plumber. When you need your bathtub fixed means repaired, a more common way to say repaired, call in a plumber. By the way, call in is separable. Call the plumber in, call in the plumber. We called in the IT specialist to repair the computers. We called them in. Hello, Jessica. Call in. Okay, so when you need assistance, you call in a plumber, you call in the repair person, you call in a carpenter, you call in what was I going to say? Well, what else do we call in? We call in a plumber, call in an electrician. Usually this assistance is about repairing something. In the old days, you could call in the doctor and the doctor would come to your house. That doesn't happen anymore. Call in. Have you called in anybody, or do you need to call in someone? Call in a handyman. That's right. Call in a carpenter. Call in a fireman. I don't think we use call in for emergencies. Basically, if you need some assistance to get something done. Something wrong with the bathroom, I need to call in a plumber. Right. Actually, I have to call in the plumber again. Living in an old house. Oh, hello. Hello, Max. Hello, buddy. You want to say hello again? I can't help you, buddy. You got to wait a half hour. Who else did you call in? Call in a plumber, call in a carpenter, call in the handyman, call in. I can't think of another example. Hey, buddy. I guess he's okay if I scratch his head. Max, you're so cute. All right, that's call in. I need to call in a plumber right now. The drain is clogged. That's the problem in my bathtub. Again, how many times do I have to deal with this problem? Ay. Okay. Speaking of, and by the way, I should mention this. Call in means to telephone someone for help. That's an important point. Come here, buddy. Come here, Max. You good boy. Come here, buddy. I know you need attention. Right? So you're not gonna yell out the window, I need a plumber. Whoever you call in, you need to let them in. Can you call in someone for remote assistance? Yes. I guess if you, whoever you call in, you need to let them in. Can you call in someone for remote assistance? I guess, yes. These days, especially if you're working in a company that has an IT department or who has an IT technician, you can call them in and they can help you virtually. Call in a plumber means I'm going to call the plumber and have them come in my house. But a lot of times these days, things can happen virtually. You don't need to call in the telephone repair or the internet repair because they do all the repair from the office. So even though the technology is changing and we're in a virtual world, then we still use the same vocabulary. Especially with the telephone, right? You answer the phone, you hang up the phone, even though you're not hanging up the phone. Eleanor, we're going to get to that later. Call in sick. We're going to get to that. Is my sentence correct? There you are. I called my friend. I don't know why you just appeared there, Mie. I called my friend up to help me call in the service center because I couldn't open the Taiwanese government homepage yesterday. Good job. Need to call in a plumber. Whoever you call in, right. Can I say, would you please call in the cooking gas delivery man? Yep, that's correct. These days, in American English, using the word delivery man or delivery woman or mailman or postal girl, we try to find non-gender words. That's a trend for the last 20 years in English. So call in the cooking gas delivery service would probably work better. Although in my generation, personally I don't care, but younger people care about that stuff. All right, that's call in. Call in. Call in the specialist. All right. Next is what? Call back. Okay, another telephone-related phrasal verb. Call back is separable. Okay, trying to remember to put those in here so you can know. Call back means to return somebody's phone call. I'll return your call later. Return the call? Return this? I have to return this shirt to the store? Return? What? No. Call back or return someone call means this. Call someone who called you when you were unable to talk. So somebody called me just now, a few minutes ago, on my mobile, on my cell phone. I have to call them back. I have to return their call. But think about that. I need to call this person who called me when I was unable to talk. That's a lot of words, right? You can just say, I'll call you back later. Okay. Here are some examples. Your husband called while you were in a meeting, and he asked if you can call him back. My sister left a message on my voicemail. I need to call her back. I called her back. Sorry. Let me read what's written. My sister left a message on my voicemail, so I called her back. Call someone back. My client gave me a call while I was on the train, and I called him back as soon as I got off the train. Right. Call him back. Call her back. Call you back later. Call back. Max is making a lot of noise back there with his rawhide bone. How are we doing? Is this still connection? Good. Did you call anybody back? And you know, in this generation of text messages, we can say, I'll text you back. I'll text you back. Text someone back. That's the verb of send a text message. I got a text. He texted me his text. Please call me back as soon as you read this message. I can record a message for your answering machine. Hello, we are not available to take your call right now. Please leave your name and number and we'll call you back as soon as possible. Give me a ring and I'll call you back later. Give me a ring. Do they say that in British English? Americans used to say that. Oh, I'll give you a ring tomorrow. It sounds like my grandmother. Oh, I'm going to give you a ring tomorrow. I need to ring John. Does sound like British English, right? Well, I talked to Paul. Paul has to ring John. I've got a hole in me pocket. Well, you know, I've got to ring John. I'm trying to work on my Beatles impressions. Well, you got to call John. Okay, no lost messages yet. I usually text back even if someone calls me up. Yeah. I'm so excited, right? Because I'll tell you why I'm excited. So my mom, 92 years old, used to get a lot of spam phone calls. You know, like they call you and they say, oh, your insurance is expired, or oh, your credit card is broken, or something like that, right? Spam messages. And I bought her a new phone, and you program all of her phone numbers, like the people she knows, into the phone, and any other call, it doesn't even make sound. So good for her. Let's see. I had to call back my boss since he was in a meeting at that time. Good. Give me a buzz. Is he American? Yes. I'll give you a buzz tomorrow. But to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't hear that. I guess I don't hear that very often. I'll give you a buzz tomorrow means I'll call you tomorrow. I guess I don't hear that very often because people don't telephone very often, right? Mostly people use text messaging. In my mom's case, that's a house phone, so she doesn't have a cell phone anymore. So there's no texting on a house phone. Vishnu, hello. Welcome. Thanks for coming. All right, that's call back. All right, we have a lot to do today. Next, call around. A phone call is more personal than a message. That's true. It reminds me of I'm buzzed. Right. She buzzed me when I was buzzed. Buzzed means a little drunk. Buzz means, as a verb, means to telephone someone. She buzzed me when I was buzzed. All right. Call around. Call around means to telephone several places in order to locate something. That's call around. Okay, sometimes you get on the phone and you telephone different places to find the thing you're looking for. I called around and finally found the book I wanted at a bookshop on Madison Avenue. At the bookshop on Madison Avenue. Call around. I called many different bookstores. That's an example from the 20th century. Oh, yes, it is. Come here, buddy. I can't help you, buddy. I'm sorry. Do you have to go out? You got to pee? Okay, sorry. Hang on one second. Give me a second. Max needs to use the restroom. Sorry. Let's go. Hello, Rosie. You can go back to sleep. All right, sorry about that. Ay, ay, ay. It's only me. I run the whole show. I run the whole show. I run Happy English. I run this business. I do this. I take care of the 2 dogs, and I take care of Mom, 92. And I'm still alive. Somehow. All right. So, call around. Let's see who else has I need a plumber. I guess I just have to call around. Call around to. Nope. I called around to many places. I called around to the bookstore. No, to bookshops. No, Naoko, good question. We don't use it with a preposition. There's no object. Call around doesn't take an object. Just call around. I have to call around. They all keep you fit, I guess. Let's see. How many steps did Michael walk yesterday? Sunday. Let's see. Steps. 8,000 steps yesterday. Thanks, dogs. All right, that's call around. And it's very similar. This is not call, but it's very similar to shop around, right? You're looking for a new pair of shoes, and you go to the store, and then you go to store A, store B, store C, the department store, the other store, the online store. You go to many different places looking for something. We can say you're shopping around, okay? So shop around means to shop in different places to try to find something. I was shopping around for a new winter jacket. Shop around. Shop around. I had to call around to find a plumber. You shop around looking for deals, right? So, let me just make a note for myself here because that's a good point. So, phrasal verbs that have around often have a meaning of moving here and there. So, when you visit a new city, right? Maybe you're a tourist and you come to New York for a vacation. You're going to walk around, right? You're going to walk around. You're going to walk here and there, different places. When you go into the department store or the jewelry store, you look around. You look at different places to see what they have. So around has that meaning. Shop around and look around. Ask around. Did I put that there? No. Right. Ask around. Ask around. Monkey around. Stop monkeying around. I think I put that on Instagram the other day. By the way, did you know that I have a subscriber area on Instagram? And for just a little commercial here, for just there I am, for just 99 cents a month. 99 cents a month. Isn't that ridiculous? If you join the subscriber area, you get a lot of lessons that I don't post in other places, including live lessons on Instagram. That's right. So check that out. That's me on Instagram, and hit the subscribe button. And thanks to everyone, a lot of you here have done that. I appreciate that. All right, so enough of that. Shop around, look for, ask around, monkey around. We traveled around Iceland recently. That must have been awesome. All right, shop around. Okay, so, God, time flies. Call on. Let's talk about call on. See, thank you. So, call on, not separable. Keep that in mind. You can't say call him on, call Jack on. We don't say call on Jack. Call on means to visit a person. And we usually use it in business because it sounds very formal, right? I'm going to call on my friend now, go tomorrow. That's a correct sentence, but it's not natural. I'm going to call on my customer, Mie, tomorrow. Okay? So we usually use it in the business scene or informal situations. Okay? Not friendly situations. Jack said he always calls on his good customers once a month. He visits them. I call on my elderly neighbor once a week to see how he's doing. Call on. Call on. Okay, that means to visit somebody, but it's a formal way of speaking. Traveling salesmen have to call on clients frequently. Yeah, Tammy, thank you. That's a good example. That's how we use this. I need to call on a client tomorrow on my way to work. Right, Tefo, thank you. We learn from each other, friends. Look at the chat because we got good communication here. Everyone's got good examples. Call on. To visit a person. Again, in a formal way. To pay a visit to somebody. I'm going to pay a visit to Jack. I should pay him a visit. That's also, excuse me, the coffee got stuck. That's also very formal sounding. Yes, the company president paid us a visit today. Very formal sounding. Not used with friends or in friendly situations. That's for sure. Pay him a visit. Call on my elderly neighbor. All right. Call on. Let's move ahead, okay? If you have an example, you can throw that in. I just want to make sure that we get to everything today. Call for. This is not the telephone. Call for. This is not the telephone. Let's see, on the weekend, a good friend came to visit us and we had fun chatting with each other. Right. Or you could also say it in a more casual way, on the weekend, a good friend came to hang out with us and we had fun chatting with each other. Hello, Children's World. So, call for, not separable, and it's not the telephone. Call for means something it's the right occasion for something. It's the right occasion for something. And this is how we use it. Oh, you got a new job? That calls for a celebration. In other words, a celebration is appropriate for that thing. Getting a new job is the right occasion for a celebration. A cold morning calls for a hot cup of cocoa. This recipe calls for honey instead of white sugar. That's another way we use that, right? In other words, white sugar is the correct thing for the recipe. A celebration is the correct thing for a new job, getting a new job. A hot cup of cocoa is the correct thing for a cold morning. This calls for a celebration. That calls for a celebration. Whenever you hear whenever somebody like a friend gives you good news, you can tell them that, right? You say, "Oh, you're getting married? This calls for a celebration." Or, "Oh, you got a new job? That calls for a celebration." Okay, so it's a way of replying when somebody tells you some good news. "Oh, Jane had a baby? Oh, that calls for a celebration. That calls for a party. That calls for a champagne toast." Something like that. I take cocoa hot. I think that's the best way to drink it. When I was a kid, I used to like to drink chocolate milk, which is basically cold cocoa. But not now. Celebration, Merry Christmas. Go for has the same meaning as call for. You got a new job, that goes for. I think in this case, the subject of the sentence is a thing, right? A cold morning calls for, that's a thing, a hot cup of coffee. I think go for is a little bit different. A cold weather. Tefo, you don't need a. Cold weather calls for warm wine. There's a drink. I forget the name. There's a drink where people take red wine, I believe it's red wine, and they heat it with some spices, like cinnamon or something. I remember my mom used to drink that a long time ago. Glue wine. Ooh, okay. Let's see. We won the first place in our league tournament. That calls for a victory. Is it correct? No, that is a victory. That is a victory. So winning first place is a victory. That calls for a celebration. Glue wine. Cold weather calls for hot pot dinner. Yes, everybody in this life calls for your help. Right, but someone calls for something is different. Right? This situation, let me write it here. Think of it this way. Your victory calls for a celebration. That means a celebration is necessary for your victory. You got a new job? That calls for a celebration. A celebration is necessary for your new job enjoyment. A cold morning calls for a hot cup of cocoa. A hot cup of cocoa is necessary on a cold morning. Or deserve. Well, that's more subjective though, but yeah. Right? A cold morning calls for a hot cup of coffee is the same as saying a hot cup of cocoa is required or necessary or appropriate for a cold morning. Does that make sense? I'm typing. That's what that sound is. All right, I put that I put that example in the text. Hot cocoa is needed on a cold morning. A cold morning calls for hot cocoa. Let's go back. In Italy, it's called vin brûlé. I like creme brulee. Peter says glint wine. We drink hot chocolate for Christmas. Deserve. Getting a promotion at work calls for a round of beer. A round of beer is the right thing for getting a promotion at work. Shumakazi. Hello. Something is perfect for a particular situation. That's another way to say that. Mie, check the comments here. A lot of good explanations here. We drink for a celebration. The victory French soccer. Okay, great. So the French soccer victory calls for a celebration. Something is calling you to celebrate. That's a way to think about it. Is cocoa different from hot chocolate? I don't think so. Americans usually call it hot chocolate. Some places call it cocoa. So I can say somebody calls for somebody. Right, I'm going to call for a plumber. I call for a plumber. So I try to get a plumber to come to my house. But that's a different meaning. Winter calls for hot pot. Now you got it. That's correct. A cold winter night calls for a hot pot. That's how it works. Van How. Welcome. Hello, hello. All right, that's call for. I think this one everybody knows. Call off. Call off is separable. Call off means to cancel. We called off the picnic because it was raining. The boss called off the meeting because he had an urgent matter to deal with. An urgent matter on the boss. Call off. Call off. Call off the police. It's just a big headache we don't need. I can imagine that situation. Call off means to cancel. And somebody asked me one time, well, does that mean it's never going to happen again? Sometimes things get called off and then they get rescheduled. So it's not canceled permanently, although usually it's that meaning. But the other point is call off is separable. We called off the picnic. We called the picnic off. We called it off. The boss called off the meeting because The boss called off the meeting because an urgent matter to deal with. Right, call off. The union called off the strike. Have you called off anything recently? I hope not. I feel like calling off tomorrow's meeting because it's always boring. You mean it creeps by? You mean the meeting always creeps by? The president was called off. Ah, Peter, good example, but we don't use this for people. We only use this for events. You can call off an event, but not a person. It's a drag. That's right. The meeting is a drag. The meeting is a drag, and the meeting drags on. Sometimes my music teacher called off the music lesson. Exactly. Exactly. Last month, I had to call off this lesson because I got COVID. Call off. I don't like to call off a class, but sometimes that happens. All right. Oh, I hear Max is banging on the door. All right. I think that's all the time that we have. So let's do a review, shall we, since we're wrapping up. So again, call off means to cancel. The music teacher called off the music lesson. Call for. A cold morning calls for a hot cup of cocoa. A cold day calls for a hot pot dinner. I don't know if no one would be called off for using the word ain't. Again, you call off an event. You don't call off a person. Okay. Anyone out of India. I don't know what that means. But that's, I don't know. The house sale, it's called off. So the house sale is called off. Or they called off the house sale. That can work. Call on means to visit a person. Very formal. I called on my customer. Shop around. Okay, shop at different places. Annual scrap, rule out, equals call off. Annul, scrap, rule out. Rule out is different. Annul. Annul is very formal. So you call off an event. Rule out means not to consider something. And scrap is like a plan or an idea or throw something in the garbage. So they're similar, but they're not the exact same meaning. Call around. When you call different places to try to find something, that's call around. Right? I called around and found the book I wanted at a bookshop on Madison Avenue. Then we talked about, if you've just joined, sorry, this is a review of today's lesson. Call back to return somebody's phone call. My sister left a message on my voicemail, so I called her back. Call in. Call in the plumber. Or you can also call for a plumber. Naoko mentioned that before. Call for a plumber. Call up. Call somebody up when it's more familiar. And then call the police. Okay, you call. All right. So that's that. That's it for today. Don't forget, go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube. You can download this document. It's a free document. And also you can sign up for my vocabulary workshop. All right, myhappyenglish.com. Go check that out. All right. Next week, we're going to change the clocks in New York. I'm still trying to figure out the time. I worked all weekend to try and figure out the time for this lesson. I'm not sure. I'm sorry to say I'm not sure what we're going to do. But I will post that on social media ahead of time so you can prepare if I have to change the time for this. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate that. Great to see everybody. All the usual faces, all the new faces, thanks for coming. If this is your first time, I do this once a week here on YouTube. So, Monica, hi. All right, that's it for today's live English lesson. Thank you so much for studying with me. Keep in mind, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible. And I'm here to help you on your journey. Thank you for joining me for today's live English lesson. See you next time. Happy Halloween!